Bastion is encouraged to create a floor plan of their character's Bastion, configuring the Bastion's basic and special facilities as they see fit. In addition to those facilities, Bastion can have the following features. Closets. A basic or special facility can have one or more closet-sized enclosures within it at no added costs. Okay, doors and windows. Well, thank God, your Bastion has doors and windows. To be perfectly honest, I get why they're putting that in here, because you know there's going to be that one rules lawyer who's going to be like, well, technically, there's nothing in the rules that says that you need a door, so technically, unless you pay money for it, you can't have a Bastion with a door. You know there's going to be one rules lawyer who's going to do that. You know that. Corridors, ramps, and staircases can contain... Sure, you can move from... Sure. Defensive wall. A player character can add defensive walls around their Bastion. Defensive walls 20 feet high may include a walkway along the top of it. So you can literally turn it into an actual fort. Each 5-foot square of defensive wall takes 10 days to build and costs 250 gold pieces. If your Bastion is completely enclosed by a defensive wall and comes under attack, Bastion events reduced by 2 the number of dice you roll to determine how many Bastion defenders are lost. Okay, so you're starting out with 2 facilities. Let's assume that you have 2 roomy facilities. That's 16 by 16, right? That's 16, 16. So let's say that's already, so that's 32 spaces, which is going to be 8 by 4. Let's assume that you want a door at the front, which isn't going to take anything. You want a corridor that goes to the left, corridor that goes to the right, let's say. And also, technically, I think they said 2 basic facilities and 2, right? So let's say that you have like 2 cramped at like the back or something. You need a corridor to go through that. So you probably want to have like about, what, 10 spaces of corridor in between. You'd have an 8 by 4 and then like a 4 by 4 at the top. Sorry, 2 by 4 by the top. So you'd probably have like 10 by 16. So your defensive wall would have to be something along those lines. So 10, 16, 10, 16. You'd be at 42 spaces for a defensive wall at level 5. Which 42 spaces would be 420 days. I mean, you see where I'm going with this? Like, you have to think about the fact, if you have one... To be fair, you can technically make it in the height, but let's even go like you're not going to only have cramped rooms, right? Let's assume that you only have roomy rooms. I don't know if you want your defensive wall to be literally right next to your thing. You probably want a small walkway there. So I'm assuming you're looking at least 6 by 6 in terms of your defensive wall, which is 6. Technically, I'm off a little bit, right? But that would mean you have 6 spaces at the front, 5 spaces to the side, 5 spaces to the side, and then 4 more spaces here. So that's 5, that's 20 spaces. And this is like one roomy facility space. So that would be what? So that would be what, like 200 days? You're literally spending half a year and 5,000 gold pieces to build a defensive wall. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, by the way. It's just compared to the idea, especially because what I haven't seen here yet, and I'm curious on this. They're saying like, oh, make your Bastion. What the hell happens when you add Bastions? Do you need to stick to the original map? Or can you change it? Because I'm assuming if you want a defensive structure, let's be honest, you just turn it into a giant apartment building, right? Am I wrong? You just turn it into a giant apartment building. You put all the 6x6s at the bottom, all the 4x4s up on top of that, and all the 2x2s entirely at the top, and then you can have a defensive wall. Because it doesn't look at the height of your building for your defensive walls. So this feels very... just, you know, personal opinion, but hey. Combining Bastions. Yeah, but see, same thing here. Like, 2 or more players have the option of combining their character's Bastions into a single structure. Doing so doesn't change the number of special facilities each Bastion can have, how those special facilities work, or who gets to issue orders. Each Bastion retains its own hirelings, which can be sent or shared with another Bastion. Bastion defenders are handled differently. If some event deprives one character Bastion of defenders, another character can comply all or some of the losses to their Bastion instead, provided the 2 Bastions are combined. Okay, so then the idea is now, you just... there's no limitations to how high your Bastion can be again. And there's no downside, seemingly. So, you see where I'm going with this? Like, there's no... you're saying, like, hey, player, make your own Bastion, build it whatever way you want, but there's no rules for changing the layout. Like, what if rooms get added later down the line? Combining Bastions, it's like, oh, everything happens separately, but you can still deal damage to your hirelings to the other hirelings. And it's like... okay. Get where I'm going with this? Like, the base idea is good. The base idea is very interesting. It feels... up until this point, it feels slightly unpolished. Then again, we're only at, like, what, page 4? Yeah, so... basic facilities don't generate Bastion points, but they can inspire meaningful role-playing opportunities and enhance a Bastion's verisimilitude. Totally the correct way to say that. Verisimilitude? Okay, can someone tell me what the hell verisimilitude is? I'm going to look this up now. I have no idea what that word means. Verisimilitude. Meaning. The appearance of being true or real. Oh, okay. Realism. Okay, sure. Enhance a player's... like being part of the game. I'm forgetting the word, whatever. There's other ways to say it than verisimilitude. A Bastion with a kitchen is functionally the same as one without, but the former gives you and your players a fun settings to start game sessions, having character discussions, or introduce new NPCs. Okay, so you start with 2 free basic facilities. I'm assuming you're gonna have to then pay for new ones, right? Basic facility comes with non-magical furnishings, decor appropriate for the facility. Basic facilities can be enlarged and new ones added by spending gold pieces and in-game time, as discussed in the section that follow. Any number of basic facilities can be built or enlarged at the same time. Character doesn't need to be in their Bastion while this is happening. Okay. So this is purely roleplay. I mean... okay, yeah, but then does that mean that you could technically have a Bastion with like a washroom and a storage and like no bedroom? You just sleep in your storage. It's like you sleeping in the stables, quote unquote. Like, I don't know. I mean, that's realism, I guess. But this is pretty much, this is a non-mechanical, just make your house pretty. This is like paying for cosmetics, right? This is like the dyes in Baldur's Gate, right? It legitimately don't have an effect, but you can spend money on them to make yourself look pretty. It's completely fine. Adding basic facilities. A character can add a basic facility to their Bastion by spending money in in-game time. Cost of adding a basic facility and the in-game time required depends on the facility space, shown in the adding basic facilities table. So a cramped one is 500 gold pieces, 20 days. Yeah, sure. Enlarging basic facilities. There is no in-game benefit to be gained by enlarging a basic facility, but it's cosmetic. Okay. Enlarging basic facilities, so you can also make cramped. Is this literally just the difference that it's, yeah, it's legitimately just the difference here. So, yeah, okay, sure. So, it's not optimal to do one first and then or like to immediately do it, or you don't lose anything or gain anything by building a cramped room and then upgrading it to roomy and then upgrading it to fast, I guess. That's kind of cool. Yeah, okay, sure. I mean, yeah. Special facility. So, wait, what? Oh, I thought they were going to say there were like spaces for this, but apparently you can just choose how big these rooms are. Okay, cool. Special facilities are locations in a bastion where the activities performed there can yield in-game benefits. Originally has 2 special facilities of the character's choice for which they qualify. Each special facility can be chosen only once unless its description says otherwise. Unlike basic facilities, special facilities can't be bought. Okay, you can't buy... Okay. Character gains them through level advancement. At level 9, a character gains 2 additional special facilities of their choice for which they qualify, and then 1 additional facility at 13 and 1 at 17. So in the end, you have 6. 2 from 5, 2 from 9, 2 from 5, 2 from 9, 1 from 13, 1 from 17. Special facility acquisition table shows the total number of special facilities in the character's bastion. Assume that construction is ongoing in the time leading up, so this is similarly to how, like, you can assume that while you're leveling up, you're learning whatever the hell you're going to be having in the next level, right? It's like you don't just get Fireball at level 5, it's like you've been learning that for the entire time, but you're not confident or good enough yet to cast a consistent Fireball at level 4. Same idea. So each new facility immediately becomes part of the character's bastion when the character reaches the level. Okay. So yeah, so 5, 2, 9, 4, 13, 5, 17, 6. Each time a character gains a level, that character can replace one of their Bastion's special facilities with another special facility for which the character qualifies. Yeah, okay, sure. I'm not against this. Because of the fact that you cannot buy special facilities, I am not against this idea. Because if you, this is the biggest reason, like, for, by the way, why I ended up changing my mind on, like, cantrip changing and spell changing in, like, Sorcerer and Bard. Because, to be perfectly honest, for newer players, it's like if they fork up and they have to redo their builds, you don't want to be like, yeah, you can't, you're stuck. Right? So, I'm fine, but I'm fine with this. I don't know where the came from, actually. I'm fine with this. This is okay. Each special facility is a level. Character must be level or higher to gain that facility. Special facility might also have a prerequisite the character must meet to gain that facility. For example, only a character who can use an arcane focus as a spellcasting focus can have an arcane study. That makes sense. A special facility occupies a certain amount of space. Just as with a basic facility, a player can configure the squares of the special facility as desired on the Bastion's map. Special facility can't be enlarged unless its description says otherwise. Also, a special facility comes with one or more hirelings who work in and maintain the facility. Hirelings Also execute Bastion orders as described in the following section. Player can assign names and personalities to hirelings, sure. Each special facility in a Bastion is assumed to generate enough income to pay the salary of its hirelings, so don't pay attention to money. That's the idea. Hirelings follow the orders they're given and are assumed to be loyal to the Bastion's owner. I mean, it's like toning down the full control over a Bastion to make it playable and usable, right? That's the idea behind these hirelings and stuff. Okay. Orders. On a Bastion's turn, a character in their Bastion can issue special orders called Bastion orders to one or more of their Bastion's special facilities. A character needn't issue orders to all special facilities in their Bastion on a given Bastion turn. The maintain order is usual. It is issued to the whole Bastion rather than to one or more special facilities. If a character isn't in their Bastion on a given Bastion turn, the Bastion acts as though it was issued the maintain order on that turn. Ah. Okay. Okay. That's what they meant in the very beginning with the introduction, right? So you have to do maintain order if you're not in your Bastion. Okay. Well, okay, we'll see. Orders are as following. Craft. Hirelings in the special facility begin crafting an item that can be made in that facility. You can also do the work yourself, but if you do, the work is suspended when you leave the Bastion until your turn. During the time required to craft an item, the facility can't be used to craft anything else, even if the special ability allows the facility to carry out 2 orders at once. Wait, is this... But is that the same as this? Or is this completely different? I'm confused now. Empower, it confers a temporary empowerment to the player character or someone else. Harvest, a resource is produced in a special facility. Hirelings gather it. You can also do the gathering yourself, but if you do, the work is suspended when you leave the Bastion until your turn. During the time required to harvest a resource, the facility can't be used to harvest anything else, even if a special ability allows the facility to carry out 2 orders at once. Okay. Maintain. All the Bastion's hirelings focus on maintaining the Bastion rather than executing orders in special facilities. Issuing this orders prohibits other orders from being issued to the Bastion on the current Bastion turn. Each time the maintain order is issued, the character who issued the order gains 1d4 Bastion points for each special facility in their Bastion. In lieu of Bastion points they would normally earn, sure. The DM rolls on the Bastion events table. Bastion events are resolved before the next Bastion turn. Okay. Recruit, you get more hirelings. Research, they gather information. You can also do the research yourself, but then it's suspended. And trade, they buy and sell goods or services stored or produced in this special facility. Okay, but I've already seen that apparently each special facility has an order that they can do. I feel like you should put this first then, but okay. Special, oh god, this is, okay, I think I'm still following, but we'll have to see, because I'm not sure if craft is just gonna be, you get points, you get Bastion points, or if it's gonna be, you can craft a second item now. It's like, yeah, so... Special facility descriptions. Special facilities are presented in alphabetical order, sure. Special facilities table lists all of them. Okay, so what do we have? Arcane Study, which requires an arcane focus as a spellcasting focus, which I think means wizards, wizard, warlock, sorcerer, right? I don't, because I think bard is musical instruments. And I think all the others are either holy focus or nature focus. Holy symbol or nature focus. So I think this is purely... I want to say this is purely wizard, sorcerer, warlock. I'm actually quickly going to check if Bard has this. Bard. Pretty sure Bard just says musical instrument. Spellcasting. If it would let me see, that'd be great. Here, you can use a musical instrument as spellcasting focus. Yeah, so I think purely wizard, sorcerer, warlock can use this. Okay. Armory for trade, barracks for recruit, makes sense. Garden for harvest, library for research. Sanctuary, ability to use a holy symbol, okay, or a druidic focus. As a spellcasting focus for craft, smithy, you need either fighting style or unarmed defense, so that means barbarian, monk, fighter, ranger, paladin? Rogue doesn't get this, right? Yeah, okay. Storehouse, workshop, expertise, and a skill, which, to be fair, originally would have been Rogue Bard, but I think Ranger now also has this. Although, to be fair, you can get this if you get the Prodigy feat or the Skill Expert feat as well. So, a little bit more broad, I guess. A gaming hall, apparently. A greenhouse for harvest. Laboratory, none with an asterisk next to it. Certain orders can be issued to these facilities have additional prerequisites. That was what I was about to ask. And apparently there's more on the next page. Sacristy, ability to use, yes, so that's for craft. Why would you... I get the weird sense there's going to be a difference between Sanctuary and Sacristy, but they both seem the same in this table. Scriptorium, but it has an asterisk next to it. Stable for cavalry, I'm assuming. Trade. Why is a stable trade? Trading horses? Okay. Teleportation circle. You can get a teleportation circle. That's helpful. Why is this none? Why does this not require someone to be able to cast teleportation circle? That's... I mean, technically you can have someone else do that, I guess. Okay, well, fine. Theater. Empower. Training area. Expertise in the skill, fighting style feature, or unarmed defense. So anything except for wizard, sorcerer, warlock, I think. Although technically fighting style you can get as a feat, right? Does that count? It says the fighting style feature. So I would assume this then doesn't apply to... I would assume this doesn't apply to someone who takes the fighting style feat, right? I would assume. Like a feat to get a fighting style, but I don't know about that. Wording, I guess. Trophy room, research, archive, meditation chamber, menagerie, recruit apparently, observatory, ability to use a spellcasting focus, just a spellcasting focus. Pub, reliquary, holy symbol, druidic focus, demiplane? What? You can get a demiplane? Okay. That's kind of creepy. Guildhall, Sanctum, and War. Okay. Okay. Let's have a look. Arcane, so let's, for example, start with Arcane Study. So it's a level 5 Bastion facility that requires you to be able to use an Arcane focus as a spellcasting focus. Space Roomy. So it does very specifically say that it's a, I think that's 4x4, right? Yeah, that's the middle one. So that's the 16 squares. I've been saying 4x4 this entire time. Technically, this can also be 8x2, and I think you can even make like L shapes if you want to, but not important. Well, kind of important, but you know. I just find it funny that it's 4, 16, 36, which is 2 squared, 4 squared, 6 squared. You have one hireling and you craft, and your order is craft 1d4 BP. So I'm assuming... Is this the cost? No, this is how much you get, right? So... on the Bastion turn... Well, Bastion orders to character needs issue orders. It issue to... gains a number of Bastion points. Determined by a die roll. Okay, so pretty much this is... So pretty much if you craft in an arcane study, you get 1d4 BP. I figured. Okay. It's funny because BP and Pathfinder Kingmaker's build points, not Bastion points. But anyway. So an arcane study is a place of quiet research that contains one or more desks, bookshelves. When you issue the craft order, choose one of the following. Craft Arcane Focus. You commission the facility's hireling to craft an Arcane Focus. Work takes 7 days and costs no money. Arcane Focus remains in your Bastion until you claim it, or you can have it sold for 10 gold pieces. Craft Book. You commission the facility's hireling to craft a blank book. Work takes 7 days and costs you 10 gold pieces. The book remains in your Bastion until you claim it, or you can have it sold for 25 gold pieces. Arcane Study also imports the following benefits. After spending a long rest in your Bastion, you can cast Identify once within the next 7 days without expending a spell slot or using material components. Okay. So this is then, I'm assuming, the full idea, right? So pretty much in base, this is like an Arcane Study. Every Bastion turn will give you 1d4 Bastion points, so 2.5 on average, and 10 gold pieces. Unless you've lost your wizard book, at which point it's going to be you pay 10 gold pieces. Well, to be fair, actually if you have 10 gold pieces, you just do this, right? Because then you get 15. You get 15 gold pieces for 10. Excuse me. Sorry about that. That wasn't pretty. But oh well. And you can cast Identify once within the next 7 days. Assuming that you don't, need to travel for 7 days, I guess. I don't know. Here's the thing. I would like this to just be the next... After spending a long rest, you can cast Identify once. You can't regain this benefit. Well, no, like you can cast Identify once. You can cast Identify once until you take another long rest at your Bastion. I think I would like that more. Just because it's like, oh, are you really gonna need 7 days? 7 days? Like, are you going to get these... Like, see, this is the thing. Again, this is very campaign dependent. And I don't know if I like that, but maybe that's good. I don't know.